Hey there folks, I just recently got done playing Animal Well. It's a little game that just recently came out, and when I mean little, I mean genuinely little. It's just a couple hundred megabytes, but it is a beautiful masterpiece of a game, very reminiscent of things like Metroid or Castlevania. The systems are really lovely, the items, the world is vibrant and eerily beautiful in so many ways. Oftentimes you'll find yourself more unsettled than in awe of anything you'll run into. Probably one of the strongest talking points for Animal Well as a whole is its style, its aesthetic. It does such a great job of making it feel like it's truly one of those very old arcade-style video games. As much as it was going for that old arcadey style, there are certain points where it doesn't do a great job of connecting one area to the next. It doesn't have much of a transition to it. While the game movements are incredibly fluid, you could be in one square space on the screen and then go over to the next, and if you're, per se, hanging over some water or something like that, and you have to jump onto a very specific platform, well, the game doesn't really give you a lot of freedom other than failing at it and then having to redo it, and this time knowing how much you have to jump to make it to that destination. At no point does the game have a generally overpowering soundtrack. The game's soundtrack is all very soft and subtle in its notes, except for give or take maybe 2 or 3 instances that are genuinely meant to be a rush, but of course, that is the point of those areas. Things that I absolutely loved playing through this game was the amount of independence that it gave you. The Metroid-style gameplay in this game is really good. At no point does the game ever truly hold your hand, but all of the items it gives you are way more useful than you would ever truly expect, and if you're able to explore how those items function, the game rewards you in spades. It very often left me to my own devices. Even the items you pick up are very independent from any sort of figuring out how to do any puzzling. Personally, I really like this. I like it a lot. I like how nothing is given to you outright. Obviously, there's certain points in the game where it's like, okay, this item obviously needs to be used here, but at no point does the game ever tell you, hey, we don't want you using this item in this fashion. You very much so can use items in ways that are just not meant to be. And in some ways that can be a little game-breaking. Whether it's for your detriment or for your benefit is up to you. But for exploring and trying new things in the world, it's always giving you the opportunity to succeed, and not just succeed, but truly, flourish beyond the means that the game provides. Now, I would say for any players out there who aren't quite as adept or skilled in gaming in general, it can be a little rough, honestly. The game is not outright mean in everything that happens, but it can knock you back quite a few pegs. It never outright knocks off all your progression since your last save, but if there's a major puzzle in front of you, it usually will take you back to whatever your last save point was, and the puzzle progression on that one is typically hit or miss on how much actually stays. There are a few puzzles in the later half of the game, and frankly even about the midway point of the game, where you'll find yourself either scratching your head or a little bit frustrated. Just off the bat, there's an item very early in the game that's a frisbee, and you'll find yourself scratching your head at least early on figuring out how to properly get it. This quest goes from being partially hard to being downright sadistic in the later half of the game when you're actually trying to collect what are these end goal flames. Really, when you're looking at the game's progression, these flames are about 3/4 of the game's overall progression. That being said, they can be a little bit difficult. Ironically enough, of everything that I was doing this entire playthrough, the water temple was hands down the easiest one for me to go through. It was very forgiving. The other dungeons, however, were frankly very brutal. Some of them were just downright mean. It was fun, but it challenged me a lot. Anywho, if I had to give my final consensus, I would say this is a must-play. At least try it out for yourselves. Experience what the world has to offer to you. It overall is actually a pretty short game, grand scheme of things, but it is lengthened by trial and error and learning and knowledge, and it's a magical experience. Well worth a playthrough. That's got to be it for now, folks. Thank you so much for sticking with me here and getting a chance to listen to my review of the game. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and please take good care of yourselves. That's all for now.